Hi everyone, my name is Kendrick and welcome to ENFP Mail. Today I get to interview Aiste. So welcome Aiste.
Hey.
So you got your official type not too long ago. Can you tell us what your exact type is?
Yes, it's double feminine, Si+Te, um, blast, play, consume, sleep. It's a bit still difficult for me to tell my animal orders because it was very unexpected for me.
Right. So technically you are the most extroverted ISTJ type. What did you think and how did you feel when you got your results back?
Um, well, I actually felt happy and a lot surprised because I thought I am sleep consume blast play. So it was really unexpected, and I was happy to be surprised about my type. I guess that.
Did you think you were lead SI before the official typing? Like, did you think you were an ISTJ?
Yes, I thought I am SIFI.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, well, it wasn't like that in the very beginning, but I came through analyzing into the conclusion that I must be lead SI.
Now, because you are lead SI, your biggest fear would be chaos. So are you really scared of chaos and something bad happening and stuff? Can you talk about that?
Yes, I am scared of chaos. Actually, that was the reason why I understood what type I am, like that I'm SI.
Right.
Because I would be like at first I thought that I'm like maybe a single decider because I associated that all my problems are about people. But then when I talked about that in Discord channel, um, uh, I told about my fears, and I was pointed out that those fears are actually chaos, fear of chaos. Like I would be afraid of new social situations where I don't know what is appropriate behavior or where I have to go or what should I say, stuff like that. Also, like I don't know, airports, going somewhere new and being afraid to not find something what I need or to not take something with me that I need to take.
Okay, so it sounds like when you're going to a new situation, that's like a big fear because, you know, people with lead or people who are IJs tend to not like new, they like the familiar. So um, uh, they said that people who are double deciders or single observers, their biggest problem is fear. And your fear is going to come from your NE, right?
Yeah.
Which is like incoming chaos that's coming from the future. So
Mm-hmm.
talk about your fear of like chaos is going to happen like in the future, but you don't know what it is.
Mm. Um, at the moment, I don't feel that I have such fears about the future too much.
Okay.
I guess I'm living a pretty stable life right now, so um, there kind of are no such fears, but I definitely had such fears in the past. Like when I studied, I was afraid, will I be able to find a job? What kind of job will I find? Will I enjoy it? Things like that.
Now, you are interesting in a way that you do have a double activated NE. So would you say you feel a little bit more comfortable at guessing what's coming? You know, like what's happening in the future?
No way. No, I'm definitely not comfortable with guessing. I don't know how that any manifests exactly in my life. Um, but yeah, maybe it's more like curiosity about the future, and like I'm being open for future possibilities, and like I feel open to whatever comes. Um, but yeah, well, at the same time, maybe I'm um, afraid of unknown situations, but also I'm drawn into them.
Oh, so you feel attracted to that unknown situation.
Yes.
So,
Well, not exactly unknown, maybe more like new situations or experiencing new things.
so would you go out of your way to experience that new thing, or do you need someone to like drag you to experience that new thing?
More like I need someone to drag me.
I see, I see. So if someone drags you, then you like it and it's okay. But if you were to do it yourself, you're like, no way, no way.
Yeah, well, even when someone else is offering me something crazy, um, I say no way. But then, uh, I don't know, like after a few minutes, okay, let's do it.
Oh, okay, I see, I see. So if they, so you can be convinced to do it. So even if you say no way at first, inside, deep down inside, you're thinking, okay, maybe I should anyways. Maybe, you know. Is that what?
Yeah, yeah,
Okay,
like deep down inside, I want to do that.
yeah. Okay. No, that's interesting because I have a lot of ISTJ friends because I'm an ENFP, right? So we're opposites. So like you know, you tend to make friends with people who are your opposite because it's like interesting, right? So sometimes I have a friend who's ISTJs and they always say no, but I now that I know that they just want me to convince them, then I'll just do that then. uh, that's good. That's good to know. So you are double feminine. Do you find that you like to be a tester? So tester means you like to try different things out. Do you like to experiment with like different food or you know, like traveling maybe? I don't know. Like do you like to experiment with like trying different stuff out?
um, and yes and no. um, I guess I do like to try new things, but when I find something that I like, I just stick to that thing usually. Uh, no, in general, I would say that I do like to try out things, but I'm not sure how much truth is actually in that, because like if I would take time, how much time I spent trying new things, that wouldn't be much.
Gotcha. Well, fair enough. I mean, you're still an IJ, so it makes sense. um, you are you're also a visual, so you're tester visual. Do you find that the best way for you to learn is from you know images or pictures or just visual like visualizing something? Like do you
No,
find no?
no, no. There are a few ways that are best for me to learn. So one way is writing down information.
Okay.
Like when I just remember better than I write down with my hand myself. And another way is to um, tell another person what I've learned. Uh, I guess when I tell another person, then I feel more confident that I know this information that I already learned. Or if I'm struggling with telling something, then it's probably like I know where I have to learn more.
Now, your SI is feminine, so do you tend to forget a lot of things very easily?
Yes. My memory is terrible. Well, not completely terrible, but quite terrible.
Do you have an example of that? Like things that you're forgetting things, you know?
Um, like for example, I'm writing down some appointments or something, or some meetings, and then if I don't look into my planner, then I would sometimes forget some meeting. There happened once, like I had this volunteers meeting, and I completely forgot about it. And I opened my planner, and I saw that, oops, right now it's happening, and I'm not there.
Oh no, then you got chaos then. So how did you react? Forgot to go to the meeting. Like, did you go to the meeting late, or what did you do?
No, no. Well, it wasn't obligatory to go there, so I just didn't go.
Oh, okay, okay.
That would be way too late to go. I would be like an hour late or something.
But have you ever been in a situation where it was mandatory for you to go, and then you forgot because you didn't write it down or something?
Um, I can't remember such situation now. I don't think so. Maybe maybe something like that happened, but I'm not sure.
Okay, no worries. Your TE is also feminine. So I have feminine TE, but I want to hear what your experience is with feminine TE. So how do you experience your feminine TE?
Um, well, I guess that's a bit hard question. um, um, I have to say that at first I thought that I have masculine TE because it happens that um, when I talk to people, I try to be um, like to maneuver somehow nicely, say something what I want to say, but it happens that I still seem straightforward and like say things that other people wouldn't say. Uh, but yeah, I guess that maneuvering is kind of feminine because I watched a video of um, Sadet from Discord channel, and I saw what is masculine DE. I don't know if I think it was T, at least how I interpreted. So it was like very pushy with the tribe, like completely. So I understood then that I'm not masculine TE. So I guess I'm a bit more smooth, or at least I'm trying to be smooth with people. Um, Also, I guess what I do with my TE is that I, for example, in my job, when I need to make some decision, I would ask my employees how they want it to be. I give them like voting. Um, So I guess that's also like femininity because I don't just uh, say how it will be, how it will work for everyone, but I just more I ask what they want, what they prefer, and always like even when I have an idea how it would work better, but I would. still ask and give it for voting.
So you're more, so when you want people to do something, it's more gentle. It's not like, hey, do this. It's like, hey, you know, I think this is a good idea to do this. It's like very soft, you know. It's like not aggressive.
Yeah, something like that, I guess. Yeah, or I just like try to talk. Like for example, if someone not doing their job as it's supposed to be, I would ask what is happening. Like I wouldn't just go and say, "Go do your job."
Right. Now, is it because you're also a double decider, so you are balanced with self and tribe? Do you feel like that helps with like dealing with the tribe? Because you know you can see their point of view, and then you can see your point of view, so it's kind of like balanced.
Yeah, I guess in a way it is, though I still find it quite hard to I don't know, um, deal with people. um, but I guess it's balanced in a way, and also at first I thought I'm self above tribe. Uh, I think that also is because it's quite balanced.
How do you experience your masculine FI?
Um, I guess my masculine FI is like I'm quite. I am certain what things I like. I also I'm also confident with my values. I clearly know what my values are. Um, Sometimes I'm unsure what I like, but like when I already know that I like it, then I certainly know that I like it.
So you're pretty confident with what you like you know what you like.
Yes,
And what about your values? Are you pretty confident with your values as well?
yes, I'm confident with my values. I see them clearly.
Um,
That that's one of the reasons why I thought I'm leaderifying.
what is your top 5 values?
Uh, it's knowledge, um, uh, uh, equality, um, experience, like experiencing things, learning things from experience. Um, and actually, now that I'm saying it, I'm remembering visualizing the list that I had written down
Yes.
with my values.
That's good. I hear using your visual modality.
Yeah, so okay, that was free. What I had, I guess maybe it changed a bit from when I wrote back then, but um, there are also, okay, like friends, other people are also value for me, like friends, family, and so on. And creativity.
Nice, nice. You got it. Got it. That's awesome. So on the spot, I know that require a lot of NE. You also brainstorm because you have to brainstorm the idea, the values, right? So I kind of made you use your NE/FI at the same time right there, you know. Yeah, but it's good. It looks like you can actually use your NE at like a decent level because you just did it on the spot, you know.
Uh,
Because NE is also kind of like brainstorming at the moment, so it's like a present function. So you just you did it, so you can use it. Um, Yeah, I think like people who has like NE last or something, I think the best way to practice is to brainstorm, you know, like kind of like what we just did right now. Like that's the best way to get good at it. Now let's go to NE then. You have masculine NE. What is your masculine NE like?
Well, that I really can't answer because I don't really clearly see my NE. Well, I have to admit, at first, when I was into MBTI and when I first came to objective personality, I thought that I'm having savior NE. um, uh, I guess how I see it is um, probably about my creativity. At least maybe I'm not so creative now, but I feel like I was used to be creative in the past. Also, how else do I see it?
What did you do that was creative when you were younger? You said.
Yeah, I was writing. I used to write a blog. Also, I used to write a book.
Oh, okay. Okay, that makes sense.
Uh, so mostly with the writing. Yeah, how else does any manifest itself? I guess it's pretty interesting thing is that, for example, my life is not really a straight line. It's quite chaotic a bit. I mean, um, I had a lot of changes in my life, and uh, I can quite easily change things in my life, like completely change 180 degrees. So I see that that's probably also anything. Because I'm not sure how it is, if it's with lead SI or more lead NI thing, that people like tend to have some life plan, and like their life are like a straight line. They finish school, they go to studies. After the studies, they work what they studied, and like completely like that. And my life was a lot of changes. Like I would go to studies, then I would decide to quit studies, go to another studies, finish it, then try out working with that. Didn't like that. Completely changed my career path, learned new thing. So yeah, I don't know if it's maybe it is connected like with NE.
It sounds like it. It sounds like you're doing some tester. You're like trying different career paths, and you're like, I try this, I don't like this. Try this one, don't like this. So you're trying different career paths, and
Yeah,
um,
that should be.
also with the NE, do you like to gather new ideas? And
Yes.
are you pretty aggressive with gathering new ideas because you have that masculine NE?
I don't know how it's supposed to be aggressively gathering ideas. I have no idea how that looks like. I just like new ideas, I guess.
Got it. Um, your consume is NF. So do you like to consume like fantasy stuff, like like uh, like Lords of the Rings, or um, Game of Thrones, like those fantasy kind of stuff? Do you like to consume that kind of stuff?
Um, it's not exactly like that. I more prefer like science fiction.
Okay. That's okay.
It's also kind of fantasy.
Yes, yes, fantasy. Okay.
Okay.
So do you enjoy consuming science fiction then, like that kind of stuff, like really, like really big into imagination land, you know? Like,
Yeah, I do enjoy it.
and now your consume is also double masculine. So how aggressive are you at like consuming when you start consuming? How aggressive are you? Like do you get upset when people disturb you when you're consuming like your science fiction, or you're trying to learn a new idea? Like do you get aggressive if someone were to disturb you while you're in the middle of that?
Yeah, I think I am. Uh, like when I'm reading book, I really don't like when people disturb me. Like I used to be with my ex-boyfriend who would just come and start talking to me, even though he sees that I read books. So I would get annoyed why he is disturbing me.
Got it, got it. Because I have double masculine sleep, so for me, when people wake me up, I get really angry. You know, it's you know. So I did notice when I was talking to people with double masculine consume that when they're consuming something, whether that be reading a book or watching a video, and then someone disturbs them, they become like a hawk, right? They're like, you know, what are you doing? Like, why, you know, like, you know. So that's interesting. Uh,
Well, I didn't become like Hawk, so
yeah, okay. No, maybe not to that like extreme. Like, I mean, it's still masculine FI. So when you rage, it's probably inside that you're angry. You know, it's not out. It's not coming outside, right? So,
yes.
um, you have. Let me see. Your play is double. No, it's not. You have double activated play. I think. Yeah, you have double activated play. So what is your double activated play like?
Um, well, that was actually the hardest part for me to see, um, because I thought I don't use play at all.
Yeah.
But now I kind of see. I guess it's mostly like uh, sharing ideas and inviting a person to share ideas to discuss something, uh, like some what ifs, stuff like that. Um, Also, I guess it kind of connected to some guessing, but like there are kinds of guessing that I'm comfortable with, and kinds of guessing I'm not comfortable with. So it's more like guessing about something that is not definite, like. I don't know, like how something could possibly turn out, things like that.
Gotcha. And do you bang on the heads of the tribe to like learn something or to like interact with people? Like do you enjoy like just going crazy and just like I mean I saw in the Facebook group you're already asking a lot of questions with people, so you're already kind of banging the head of the tribe. But so is that something that you enjoy, this interaction with the tribe and like banging the head of the tribe? Hey, can you tell me about this? Hey, tell me about this. You know, it's
Um, I don't feel like that at all. But well, I guess most of my learning is happening through play, through going to the tribe, because I prefer like um asking someone uh, that I know is supposed to know that thing. Um, so I would go and ask a friend to tell something about something for me, and yeah, though I don't see it like banging into heads.
yeah.
Also, I didn't feel like to doing it a lot on Facebook group. Like I did ask several questions, like maybe posted made 2 posts or so, and yeah, I guess I interacted under those posts and asked some additional questions and happened to unintentionally annoy some people.
Yeah. Well, we'll never know.
Well, I know because someone told me.
Oh, really?
It was the first day when I came to Facebook group. I asked about TI and FI, how people are experiencing it,
Yeah.
and some person wrote how he's experiencing his TI,
Uh-huh.
and I asked some additional questions, also like questioned his experiences, like, are you sure it's TI and not SI or something? And he was so annoyed at me. He said right away that I must be TE.
Yeah, because I think with people with TI, they thought about their reasons very carefully. But because you have TE, you kind of just like disrespect it. You're like, okay, tell me your reason, blah, 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 blah. You know, it's like rapid fire, right? So it's so people with TI get like annoyed at us, people with TE, right? Because we're like so disrespectful with the reasons, you know,
Yeah,
you know.
yeah.
But it's okay, you know, that you're just being you, right? So you know, that's but your play is also NT. So what is NT play like? Like, do you like to get the reasons from the tribe? Do you like to ask the tribe, hey, what's your reasons? What's your reasons? You know?
Yes, I often ask. Well, maybe not what the reasons are, but what they think.
Yeah, what they think.
Uh,
Okay, that's
yeah. Um, like even there was such a situation. It was like some emotional argument, something like that, and I asked person, "What do you think now?" And it happened that he answered to me, "I feel this and this," instead of telling what he thinks. So yeah, I feel way more comfortable asking people what they think than how they feel.
yeah.
And yeah, I also like to sometimes ask what are the reasons for something, like why they do something or why they think something, and things like that.
Now you have ST Blast. So ST Blast is kind of like, okay, everyone, you're giving instruction, right? You're like, step 1, do this. Step 2, do this. Step 3, do this. Do you find yourself doing something like that, or not really because of the feminine SI?
Um, Sometimes I do that, I guess. Though I guess my blast is double feminine. Yeah, feminine blast. So it's maybe I'm not that aggressive like with instructions, but yeah, I sometimes do, especially at work. Uh, I have a lot of files with various workflows and instructions, and trying to make clear every possible situation and how to behave in every possible situation.
Gotcha. Now your sleep is SF. So what is your SF sleep like?
Uh, I have no idea because, well, at first I thought lead sleep. Like I thought I have it first. Um, so, but it happens that what I thought it was my sleep, it actually wasn't. It was more like blast and play in my own head.
Oh, okay.
Uh, so, um, yeah, so it's hard to reach and understand that SF sleep. It's I think it happens quite rarely that I reach it. because, for example, I write a diary, which it could be a thing of processing, but my diary happens to be a lot of ST reporting instead.
Oh,
Um,
what? Like, can you give an example?
yeah, like for example, today I did this and that. Today I went to this place.
Oh, okay.
And
You don't write about your feelings in your diary?
I have to tell this story that happened to me. I'm writing diary since I was 12 years old,
Okay.
and in my studies, in psychology studies, I had to. We had internship, and we had to make internship diary, which we would later give for our lecturer to read. So I did the diary, and after lecturer read it, she says, "You probably never wrote diary."
Oh
And
my
I was, I didn't say anything, but inside I was like, "What? I'm writing it for 10 years. What do you mean I'm not never written diary?"
God.
So that is when I figured out that you're supposed to write about your feelings in
Yeah,
diary.
yeah, that's right.
So since then, I try to sometimes also write about my feelings,
So
but it's.
you weren't writing a diary, you were writing a newspaper then
I
for 10 years.
still think it was a diary.
Start
So,
a
yeah.
work in a newspaper company because 10 years. You put in your resume 10 years of experience. That's good. Now that you know you're supposed to write about your feelings, can you talk about your feelings better now? Like, you know.
Um, I think it's still quite difficult to talk about feelings and to reach my feelings because most of the time I feel like I'm not feeling anything. It's just like I'm feeling neutral. That's it. But as I studied psychology, we were kind of made to find feelings even when there are none. So I guess that experience helped me to develop my sleep a bit more and uh, to learn how to reach feelings and how to understand them.
Gotcha. Okay. I can't ask you feeling questions right now but you do have sleep loss. I'll talk about your sleep loss. Do you find yourself expending your energy for the tribe too much and then not knowing when to like time to stop and rest and conserve your energy?
Um, I guess kind of, because I always thought it's important to rest or at least maybe not to rest, but to have some time for myself.
Right.
But it happens that, uh, for example, if a friend writes for me on Messenger, I would just reply and um, I would feel obligated to reply, and it doesn't matter that I'm supposed to do some other stuff like my own things, like having my time. I would still reply, or if someone would uh, offer me to go out, for example, I would preserve that. So it kind of happens that I do expend energy for people and uh, resting and doing my my own activities it comes after that.
After you've expended it for the tribe, then that's when your activity comes. Your personal activities.
Yes. Yes.
They said that, and I 100% agree with this. This is actually what I'm working on right now because we both have the exact same functions and we're both sleep last, right? So we're both consume third actually. So we have a lot of animals and functions that is in common. But people with sleep last have trouble setting boundaries. So let's say the tribe is being toxic or making you feel bad. If you have sleep high, then you would say, hey, you know what? I'm not going to talk to this person anymore because this person is bad for me. It's toxic for me. Or you would communicate your feelings to them right away. Just to cut the line to make sure that I was talking to this on ESFP. Ikram is her name, just a few days ago. She's also sleep last. And she said, before I get to the point where I hate this person, I'm going to tell them how I feel. That way I don't hate them. But for me, I find that I have sleep last. So I get to the point where I already hate them. And then that's when I use that's when I set boundaries. I cut them off and I stop talking to them, so, which is bad because, ideally if you have a friend and before you get to the point where you hate them, you should talk to them first about your feelings, right? And then if it doesn't go well, then that's when you cut that relationship or that interaction. But for me, it's too late because it's already got to the point where I hate them already before I cut it, right? So I didn't set my boundaries properly. So what's your experience with setting boundaries because of that sleep last?
Yeah, I had similar experiences, but I don't think, I think they're quite anecdotal. Maybe it happened like 2 times in my life when I would react like that to just get fed up with people and say that's it and say everything what I think about them and to cut them off. By the way, they are still in my life right now. They came back into my life after that anyway. But yeah, sometimes find a bit difficult to set boundaries because I also try to be to not offend another person. So it sometimes gets difficult.
I think it's interesting that you said that. You said exactly what you felt about them, and then they came back later on because I had the exact same experiences where, like, I said everything I felt about this person, and it's really offensive. And after some time, they all come back. So I'm like, huh, that's interesting, So,
Yeah.
so maybe for us with sleep last, it's important for us to tell people how we feel, like right away, instead of like waiting until we get to that point where it's super aggressive, Because I think if you give it in small bits, it's more like manageable, like instead of going crazy later on. Because you keep it inside and then eventually it's like a volcano, like boom, like.
Yeah, I guess.
Yeah, and it's bad for us with sleep last because we're pretty much a walking volcano. People don't know when we're gonna blow up, like it's, so.
Yeah, well, I usually don't feel like walking volcano
Yeah,
because I find it important to just understand own emotions, and I know it's not healthy to burst out like that. So I usually don't do that.
yeah.
But yeah, it happened. It actually happened with 2 of my best friends. That I would just cut them off like that, being fed up.
Yeah, yeah, but isn't that like a volcano kind of like you just cut them out out of nowhere? It's like like they're thinking, where did this come from? You know. So you're info dominant. How important is it for you to have the most accurate information?
it's very important for me. Um, like I really value truth and knowledge, and I want to know what is truth, that is right. So like I'm taking seriously information, and like I don't know, some people. I feel like some people don't take it too seriously, or like they just are okay if something works for them. But for me, it's not acceptable. For me, it has to be the ultimate truth. Um, so it has to be accurate.
If people lie to you, how do you react?
Well, I I really don't like lies. Uh, I had people lying to me in my life, um, and I really don't like that. I don't understand why people lie, um, because I myself try not to lie, and I really hate when other people lie.
Gotcha. Yeah. Okay. I experience the same as you. I hate people who lie, or I hate it when people lie to me. I had a question now that it kind of flew out of my head, which is kind of annoying. It's annoying. I have a SI last, so I always forget things. I forget my questions, like that I have sometimes for people. Oh my god, I had an important question for you. Now it's gone. Oh my god. Okay. Um. Oh right, I remember now. So you are the similar type as Brene Brown. I don't know if you got your documents, but I don't know if you know Brene Brown. Do you know Brene Brown?
No.
Yeah, she's like the expert on feelings actually and vulnerability. Maybe you should check out her book, because she's like an ISTJ like you, and she's like really good when it comes to like talking about feelings, like shame and like courage, like all that topic. I think it's really good. But okay, so I can't answer that question because obviously you haven't read her materials or watched her videos. But she's an ISTJ like you, and like blast play also. So I think it's gonna be a good, like I think you could learn a lot like on about yourself, I guess, and like your feelings, because you're sleep last, right? So it's that's an area of challenge for you. But my last two questions for you, Aiste, is the first one is what advice can you give to other ISTJs that is freaked out about chaos because they don't use their NE to kind of guess or like try to at least bang the heads of the tribe to figure out what the incoming chaos is, like what is coming. What advice can you give them? Because you seem to be like, yeah, you don't like it, but you have double activated NE. It's masculine. You have blast. Sorry, you have play. You have consume. Then you have access to it. What advice those ICJs that don't have access to it?
Yeah, so I could give several examples, advices. Like one would be preparing for everything, like making some list of what situation requires, and it really can be depend on situation that that is chaotic for people. Another advice would be to write down all possible like scenarios, what could go wrong, and then write down how it could be solved. Uh, like I mean, fear of chaos often is you're afraid of something, but you actually need to understand why are you afraid of it. So you need to think of worst case scenarios and wrote those down, and see you when you write them down, you will see that they are more easily solvable than they looked when they were just in your head. And also, some of them are quite unrealistic, so they, when you write down, they don't look so scary anymore. So I guess that would be my advice.
Yeah, that's a good tip, actually. That's a really good tip. Because then you're using your NE to brainstorm what could be the what could be the chaos, and then you're kind of using your TE to have a solution for that chaos, right? So it's like, yeah, it's really good. And you're using your SI too, because then you're making a list of possible problems. So that's
Yes.
really, using, yeah, and then you're using all your functions. The only thing that I think the funny thing that you miss actually in your tip is you didn't talk about the feelings, which is I think. You didn't put the FI, right? Like, okay, and then how do you feel if this happens? Like, you didn't think about your sleep lasts, it's okay. It's okay. No, it's good.
Well, I did mention feelings, like feeling of being afraid of chaos, and what are you being afraid of? But yeah, I don't see it as important, like how some
Yes, important.
you feel.
Oh my God. Your feelings are not important. Okay, that's funny. But okay, so my last question to you is, do you have any question for me as an ENFP? Because I'm lead NE and you're NE last, right? Do you have any questions for me about like about anything?
I didn't.
It's about NE or something, because I have NE, like that's like my highest and that's your lowest, right?
Yeah, I haven't think about such questions, so it's hard to think of something right now.
Yeah.
I don't know, maybe how do you see your NE, and what could you offer to develop it better for people who have it last or low?
Yeah, that's really hard to answer because I do it all the time. So it's so hard to explain it, because I just do it normally. But like for me, I can I know Dave and Shan always say, like, when you're using N, you have to make a guess. But I don't know if it's like a guess per se. It's more like it's yeah, it is a guess, but it's like an intelligent guess. Like it's like you can back up the guess with evidence. So it's not like it's like a pure guess that you pull out of your butt. It's like it's a guess that that has evidence. I'm trying to think of a concrete example. Okay, like I had a friend who is an ISTJ, and I actually had that volcano moment where, like, I just cut him out for 1 year, before we became friends again. But like he was also pissed off at me, so we cut off each other actually at the same time. It was like a mutual cutoff. And like when I had an intelligent guess why he was pissed off at me, right? And why, and like what did I do that made him upset? But he also upset me, right? So my friend, he's double masculine, so he's very feminine with his identity, right? He's very like sensitive. He's super sensitive. I like when we were kids, I would say something mean to him, and he acts tough. He always like goes up to people and like he's very direct, and he kind of like makes fun of everyone directly, And
Mm-hmm.
when I said something, but when I was a kid, we were playing ping pong. He's Iranian. He's from Iran, and we were in a ping pong team when we were kids, and then we lost the game, and it was his fault, right? He lost the game for us, so I got mad at him, right? And then he was really sad when I got mad at him. He had his head down like this, and he looked so sad. He looks like he's about to cry, right? but because he's double masculine, so like his feelings is very like easily moved, right? So I know him really well because you know I grew up with him, right? Where like I know him since we were in high school, like grade 9, you know. So like recently, like I think it was 2 years ago when we had that like 1 year where I didn't talk to him. He's always lying. He's not info dominant, right? He's always lying. For him, his information for him is not serious. So he's telling like bullshit. Like he tells me like he owns 13 houses, and you know, and he has like a master's degree, and like he makes $400,000 per year, you know, and it's all bullshit, right? He just and my auntie's telling me it's bullshit because number one, when we were in high school, he had a special helper with him, so I don't think he's very smart because he has a special helper that have to help explain things to him. So that's number one. Number two, he was never good in school, let alone math, and he's an accountant supposedly. Number three, I asked him the name of the company that he works for. He doesn't know the name of the company that he works for. That tells me he's already lying because everyone knows the name of the company they work for, you know. And number four, he tells me he owned 13 houses. Like that doesn't even make logical sense. How do you own 13 houses? We live in Vancouver, Canada, and each house here costs $1 million. You know, you know, and in his job, it doesn't earn $400,000 per year. It's impossible. And all my friends know he's lying, right? Like he's so my NE knows like this is like just taking a guess here that he's lying, but it's a pretty good guess that he's lying, you know. So so I have anything brainstorming too, right? So I'm making a list of like, you know, list of possibilities of why he would be upset at me, and I think it came down. The reason why he was upset at me is because I made him feel small. I made him feel like he's not important. I made him feel like invalidated. You know, for him as a person, for him, the most important thing for him is to feel like he's, you know, he's to feel important. And I made him not feel important. I made him feel like he's down here when he wants to be right here. And I really made him feel bad. And that's like my intelligent guess. So I was thinking, why would he make up all these lies about himself? Well, and after I brainstormed the reason, I'm like, okay, at the end of the day, it's because I made him feel like he was small. And I think all he wanted was for me and my friends to tell him, hey, you know what? Hey man, you're a really good friend. We like to hang out with you, you know, like just, you know, just make him feel like he's like he's our one of our best friends, and he's not like someone that's stupid, you know. And we made him feel he's stupid. That's why he made up all these lies. But in fact, he just wanted to feel like he belongs, and he will never say it because he's double masculine. But we can tell that's how he, just based on his behavior, that's how he feels. So that's how I use it. I don't know if that makes sense.
Yeah, it makes sense. It's really interesting because it helped me to also see how I do it.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I guess I do it similarly, but like in a very limited way, because my guesses often are off, and I don't guess correctly.
Yeah.
But yeah, the idea of how it works sounds really familiar. Like making a guess based on certain evidence.
Yes. Yes.
Yeah,
yeah. Sorry. Keep going.
Yeah, that sounded really, really amazing how you described it.
I think it's interesting. You can see it really quickly too, because we both have the same function. So when I said it, you're like, oh yeah, I see it, because then you have it. You have that function, you know.
Yeah.
Yeah. All right, Aiste, thanks for doing the interview. I really appreciate it, and like telling me your story and how you experience all the different functions and animals. And I hope that you get a chance to practice your sleep more, and maybe not write more newspapers, but write more about your place. But I'm just joking. I'm joking. But thanks again.
Thank you.
All right. So bye, everyone.
Bye.